Good morning, everyone. Sorry, just a little getting everything situated here, but we are live here for Stream Punk Entertainment. I'm your guy, Pat Bernard, here on the Pat Bernard Show. I have a lot to get into. We're going to talk some Flyers. We're going to be talking Sixers. We're going to be talking Eagles. And today, on a rare occasion, you get Sixers, Flyers, and Eagles. Oh my. All today. You get all three of those teams playing today. But first, you know what I got to do at the top of the hour? I got to talk some hockey. I got to talk some Flyers puck. Caden, happy Sunday to you, sir. Happy Sunday, Caden. Thanks for joining the show. Listen, I couldn't sleep last night. I had a rough time going to sleep because of the Philadelphia Flyers and how this was a one-sided affair yesterday. Out there in B-Town, the Flyers you saw John Tortorella was not happy with the officiating. I'm not happy with it. The fans are not happy with it. And I completely understand. And I'm not here to defend the rest, but, let's call this for what it is. The Flyers have been playing some undisciplined hockey in the last couple of games. Matter of fact, in the last two games, they spent a half hour in the sin bin, which is not good. And don't give me this don't give me this is a rebuilding year. I'm tired of the excuse. That's just an excuse to get you out of trouble. This team has been playing red hot up until this point. Matter of fact, the penalties has been shooting this team in the foot. And I get it. Yesterday, like I said, looked like a complete one-sided affair. And I get it. I get on John Tortorella's, but how about the fact that your team didn't come out disciplined? Before I go any further, I want to get some of these comments here. Good morning, Adam. Good to see you, buddy. Double G in the house. Good morning. I got to talk Wings, too. Yeah, listen, the Wings are off. And guys, if you guys want to talk some lacrosse tonight, well, there's only one guy you want to talk to. And he comes right here on the Stream Punk Entertainment. So, guys, go to Stream Punk Entertainment Sports tonight at 9 o'clock. Talk with my man, Gary. He breaks down everything across the NLL. Caden, what's up? Big win for the Wilson. Yeah, huge win. Huge win. Huge. Marshawn! Good morning. It's been a long time, buddy. Why am I complaining? Because I'm nuts. You know that. You've been a long-time listener of Pat Bernard. You know how I like to cry and touch things. And touch and grab and cry. Okay? This is what I do best. Glad to be listening to my man Marshawn. It's been a long time, my man. But let's get into it. Let's talk. And Marshawn, you asked why I'm crying. I'm stating the obvious. The Flyers had this game won. Mitchkov setting the tone. Up 2-0. 2-0. And this team blows it by hanging this in. And listen, this was almost a completed game from the Philadelphia Flyers yesterday. They played real sharp in the first opening period with 2 goals from Mitchkov. The defense actually came into a zone. Now you know Boston was going to play some physical defense, and they were going to come out strong on the offensive end. They get Trent Frederick gets the rebound goal, offensive rebound goal, and finds back in the net. Kudos, that was going to happen, but they were dealing with a lot physicality, the one-sided calls. But, again, when they go to the sin bin too many times, 6 times, You're only wearing out your goaltending and your defense. You only wear them out. Now, Trent Frederick was the difference maker for the Boston Bruins yesterday. Put up a pair of goals. All right. But this team would still have the lead. I mean, Travis Sanheim played really good yesterday. Finds Mitchkov against the boards, gets him the, with the assist there, gets his 12th assist of the year. Cam York, with all the traffic that was hanging around Boston's goaltending and on the track that was in front of him, Cam York finds the open, pass. He makes the pass to Cam York. Cam York goes top shelf, bang. But the problem I had yesterday of the whole thing, and this is where you're a playmaker in the league, it's when Mitchkov, that no good, snot-nosed punk, Charlie McElroy, comes up and takes a slash to the knees, and that wasn't good enough. My man turned around and started roughing him up a little bit, pushing him, pushed the stick while he was down. He just took the stick and just jammed it in his chest. I mean, Owen Tippett took Owen Tippett to come over to help out his teammate. But he comes over, breaks that up. They both go to the sin bin. But I mean, still, you are up with a large margin. I mean, you were up. The third period comes around, and I don't know. I didn't see if I didn't get the notification. I was running. If you guys know, if any listeners out there checking in, I think TK might. I think he went in for the concussion protocol yesterday. He did catch a high stick in the back of the head. But let me get some of these quick comments real fast. My man Marshawn, thoughts on the Sixers? I'm scared to ask. Well, listen, Marshawn, stick around because that's going to be my next segment. It's the Sixers. And I'm having my brother from another mailman, Sean Bernard, join the show. So, yes, I can't wait. I mean, I can't wait to have him on the show. Oh, my man Joey Woods. Flyers need to fire this coach. 14 minutes. Come on, Joey. Still rookies. I can't fire the coach. This is not on John Tortorella. If anything, Joe, John Tortorella has been the difference maker here. Benching Mitchkov is only sending the ripple effect throughout this team. It's made him better. Him benching Morgan Frost has only made this team a little bit better. Come on. I can't go there, Joey. And by the way, guys, catch my man Joey on the Steel Step Show every Friday night. So, guys, give him a follow. Great wrestling mind. He does tremendous work. Great wrestling beat reporter. Love Joey. Good guy right there. So, again, I mean, when I look at the Philadelphia Flyers, they need to start. And listen, today they're going to have Utah come through. And that's not going to be no easy task either. Utah just won 5-2 out there in Buffalo against the Sabres. Like, they're coming in here with a little bit of momentum. And you got to deal with guys like Clayton Keller, who has the most points on that team with 31 points. Dalen Gunther with 10 goals. Nick Shamas with 17. Dude, it's you got a lot to deal with, and I imagine Fernotov is going to get the call today. And by the way, and I want to get into this with everybody. You know this hamster on the wheel. It constantly moves. Very little, but it moves. Eagles football and pasta Sunday. Yes. Yes. Definitely going to have some lasagna. Yes. Love where you're thinking, Adam. You're always thinking with that top thinker of yours. Where's Soto going? Where is Soto going? I hope he signed here. But to me, you would probably have to move on Nicky Cass. But the Sully's checked in. What's up, Sully? He goes, "What's up, Pat? Tough love yesterday, but love in the direction of the Flyers." Thank you. So I mean, Joey, you bring up a good point. I do love the Philadelphia Flyers. And I think they are trending in the right direction. I think they got the right coach in place. I think they got the right general manager in place. But Joey, yesterday was uncalled for, and I get it. And Flyer fans are going out their minds saying this is a one-sided affair. That John Tortorella's, you saw the press, right? It went viral. He's thinking about taking dives. He said that. Taking dives in sports. We don't play to take dives. Maybe we should. And maybe, I don't know, FanDuel has, but I'm telling you, if you'll call me yesterday, I was going off a little bit. The most thing that aggravated me yesterday was Charlie McAvoy and the dirty hits he was taking on Mitchkov. Like, I don't know if that was Christmas money that was coming for Bones to take care of the family. I don't know, but my man was doing some dirty hits yesterday. Is Soto Phillies a real possibility? I think so. I think so there, Marshawn. I think so. Like, you're going to have to do some moving pieces, but I think so. But anyway, the question of the day I got for you guys. And I really want to ask this to the Flyer fans who are checked into the program. We've been complaining about goaltending. And now we finally got it. We finally have goaltending in Philadelphia. My thing is, just to play devil's advocate, you see how good Alexei Kozlov is playing. You see how good Ivan Fedotov is playing. The goal situation is secured here in Philadelphia. But do you think Danny Barrere should move on from one of these guys and go get like a wing, a forward, or a defenseman? Should he go grab one? Because at some point, Sam Harrison's going to come back. And when you do, you have a package. And now you can move on from somebody. So should the Philadelphia Flyers move on from one of these two guys, or maybe they should move on from Sam Harrison? If you got three goalies on this squad, and by the way, whoever the goalie coach is, he's doing a heck of a job, by the way. I'm making sure if I'm Danny Barrere, that guy is not going to go anywhere. But my question is, should the Philadelphia Flyers move on from one of the two goalies right now, from Kozlov or Fedotov, and go get a winger or a defenseman? Because if you can move on from one of those two guys, I think you'll be A-okay. I'm starting to believe that since Soto hasn't made a decision. Yeah, listen, don't. Marshawn, don't get your wet dreams all on a hook, okay? Don't get yourself a wet t-shirt contest. Hold on to your sphincter. There's something big in the works. Trust me, the Philly. One thing I will say, and I'm going to get back into the Flyers conversation, but one thing I will say about the general manager at this current time in this city are doing the right things. I will say that. So, but anyway, and I do appreciate all the viewers I'm getting right now. Definitely appreciate all the love. I need to know is if you're if you're Danny Barrere, do you move on from one of these goaltenders now? Like, if I'm Danny Barrere, I'm just playing devil's advocate. I wouldn't move on. I'm thinking about moving on from Vanotov or Kozlov. Or no, I'm going to move on from Sam Harrison. I know Sam Harrison has a lot to offer, very young, but I'm looking to make a trade. I'm looking to make a trade to maybe upgrade the defense side of the puck or get myself a another. You can never go wrong with adding to the offense. That includes Dell, right? Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Marshawn, yes, it does. It definitely does include Daryl because Paul George has been the plus side. Do you talk EOP? Oh man, listen, man, Marshawn, you are where listen, you're breaking my heart over here. Um listen, there's been a change in stations, EOP, as far as podcasting. We've done some things. I love EOP. EOP is always going to be in my heart. I love Mike. Mike has currently stepped down for a little while, and but he'll be back into the game whether it's here or somewhere else. He'll be back. I wish him nothing but the best. I love Big Mike. I miss fighting with him on Sunday mornings. But you know what? Marshawn, I'm here with Stream Punk Entertainment, and I love playing with myself. I mean, pause. uh, uh, yeah. The Gobbler, let's go. What's going on? What's happening, bro? Look, Steve a lot. And guys, catch my man Steve today for the Eagles post-game show. And for the guys who don't know, there is going to be a Steelers post-game show. That's right. So, I mean, here on Stream Punk Entertainment, we're covering all PA. We're like PennDOT. We're filling in all the potholes here. All right. I love the EOP and the crew always. Oh man, thank you so much. Yeah, I love it. Listen, I had a great time working with everybody on. I had a great time working with everyone over there at EOP. Great group of guys. I will never take that away. Real pack of hungry dogs. I've said that a million times. Big Al, Dives, the Matty B's of the world, Big Sal, Fred. I mean, the whole gang. I mean, that was a special time and place. I love them. Good group of guys. Marshawn, good group of guys. I had a tremendous run with those guys. But here, and listen, Marshawn, some of us EOP cats are here right here on the network. We got Steve Funentes from the Attack and Third. He does a lot over here. A real hungry dog. We got him. We got Mitchy Poo. I know we got some playmakers still. We got all lacrosse all the time. We're still adding pieces. Relax. Relax about what? What should I be relaxed about? I watched Steve and Mitch's post. Oh, thanks a lot. Appreciate it. Yeah, listen, it's going to be a lot of fun today. It's going to be a lot of fun. So, guys, I mean, again, if you're just checking into my show, if this is your first time viewer, you know who I am from the EOP crew. You know I'm Pat Bernard. But listen, the Philadelphia Flyers have a primetime game tonight against Utah. Flyers need to bounce back, need to stay away from the sin bin. And I can't just have where's it? What do we got? This is what I'm talking about, Marshawn. I love it. I'm a subscriber for short. Yeah, listen, Marshawn, we have more action over here than the Spice Network, than Pornhub, okay? You can never get enough action over here on Stream Punk, okay? Eagles play at 1 tonight. At 1 today. So, my darling notes on the Flyers. They got to bounce back. They got to bounce back. But I want to ask you guys, I mean, if you're Danny Briere, You saw a couple moving parts. The Rangers went to go get somebody. They picked up somebody from the Ducks. There's some minor moves getting done. Should the Flyers now look to trade one of these two goaltenders or move on from Sam Harrison and go get himself a forward or a defenseman in at some point? Because even though the goalie situation here in Philadelphia looks secured with Kozlov and Fedotov, I'm thinking about moving on from Sam Harrison and go get myself one of those, like I said, a forward or a defenseman. You can never stop unloading on offense. And going to join me at some point is going to at 9:30. It's going to be my man Sean. Yes. I don't blame you, Marshawn, for the words that come flying out of my mouth. Well, the better stuff that comes in. I mean, the stuff that comes flying out of my mouth. Yeah, I don't blame you for unsubscribing. When is Utah going to get a real name? Adam, I don't know. That's a good question. I mean, I get it. You moved on from the Arizona Coyotes. I mean, by this point, you couldn't come up with a name? Are we going to take long and hard to think about coming up with a name? I don't know. But let's get into talking some Sixers because, like I said, my man Sean Bernard's going to pop up here in a little bit. And I really want to talk some 76ers puck with him. And I'm looking for that. I'm looking towards doing that. But, I mean, when I look at this Flyers team, though, I mean, we got to be happy, though, in Philadelphia sports of what we have, right? We got McCain. We got, Saquon Barkley tearing up on Sunday afternoon. We got, Quentin Mitchell right there, right? We got some promising pieces for the future of Philadelphia sports. You got Mitchkov, and Mitchkov gets his 11th goal yesterday. How about Mitchkov? Like, he leads the rookies in NHL with points. He leads the NHL rookies in goals. He's second in assists. I mean, how lucky are we? How lucky are we? We are very, very lucky. Here we are. It's a Wrap Network. Guys, please go subscribe. Go give them a follow. Check out my man Matt. Check out my man Big Sal. I love them. They are family to me. I love those guys. The hockey club is expected to announce its official name between next year, 2020. Sometime this year, 2024, 2025 season ends. So sometime probably about the summer. And guys, please go give them a follow. They are I love Matty B. I love Big Sal Sausage. Can't get enough of him. Haven't watched a Sixers game all year. I could care less until Embiid's gone. Wow. Hold on. You can't be doing that, can you? I mean, what's your name, Big Mike? The Sixers seem to be gelling better without him. The team is narrowing down from its Wrap Network. The team is narrowing down the options to be the sixth finalists. More than 522,000 fans are voted online. The finalists were Utah Blazers, the Mammoths, the Outlaws. I like the Outlaws. Venom. Venom sounds cheesy to me. I like the Outlaws. I like it. It sounds like it's got a cool ring to it. So anyway, I mean, when you narrow this down with the Flyers, and again, I get it. And I don't know if that's Matty B or Sal who's checked in from the It's a Wrap Sports Network. I mean, Matty B would know better as an official himself. I mean, he could probably a little bit exclude to it a little bit more as far as this officiating that's getting heard around the world from yesterday's game. Everyone thinks this was a fixed game. John Tortorella said yesterday in in his post game, we could be taking dives. Let's start taking dives. I don't teach my team to take dives, so I don't know. But I mean, I'd love to get Matty B on at some point to bring him on the show and talk about that. I mean, and like I said, you can catch Matty B tonight on their network at 10 o'clock. I mean, he'll probably break it down a lot better than I can from a official point of view. But I mean, like I said, I'm not trying to hear is to stick up for the referees. But the referees, but the Flyers have to do a better job. Point blank. I mean, Thursday night, what's Thursday night's excuse? Because 4 out of 5 power play goals that the Panthers went on, they executed. They scored. You can't do that. You can't do that. You can't be going to the sin bin all the time. You can't be sitting there blaming the referees for stupid and idiotic decisions that you made. You can't. Now, and today, like I said, Utah's going to come in with a little bit more momentum. They just blew the doors off the Bruins. Off the Sabres. They just blew the doors off. And we're going to have Flyers post-game coverage. And again, Matt B, you probably have it on his network. We'll have it here. I mean, it's great. But again, you can't fault them for that. How about let's start making plays because Brad Marchand had a breakaway yesterday. That rat-faced freak who likes licking faces got himself a goal. So let's talk a little Sixers, huh? Shall we? It's that time, right? The 76ers. Off to a real slow start, but has found ways to get things done without Joel Embiid. And how? Why? How's this all coming together now? And you want to know why? Because Joel Embiid hasn't touched the floor. And he might be suited up today, matter of fact. He's listed as questionable. I wonder if he'll come in. But, to me, the 76ers got to play better. They're doing better. They're gelling together without their big man. But you know what? Listen, I'm going to sit here and I'll complain to you about the 76ers all day long. But, they're starting to gel together, and it's all because of Paul George. And there's one man who knows 76ers basketball. Matter of fact, when you think 76ers basketball, you can't think, when it comes to 76ers basketball, he's the face. He's my stepbrother. You've seen us in a bunch of cameos together. Listen, he's my brother from another mailman. Let me get my man Sean Bernard on here.
What's going on, Pat? I appreciate you having me, man.
Sean, what's up, my brother? What's going on? Good morning.
Doing well. Been a while, but yeah, good morning. Wish a little bit higher spirits with the Sixers team, but you're right. Starting to turn things down a little bit, but excited to dive into it with you, and appreciate you having me on once again.
Oh yeah, listen. This has been a long time since this tag team has been, on fire. Since it's been back in a few swings. All we need now is Dives and Mitch, and we can get the Wolfpack will be in back.
That's right.
The full swing. Listen. So let's talk about the 76ers. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. Joel Embiid hasn't yet to touch the floor in quite some time, and the fans, even the ones who've defended him at some point, are tired of defending this guy. This team's starting to gel up out there. So what's your take on Joel Embiid at this point? First of all, is he going to suit up today?
Yeah, there seems to be more optimism that he will suit up today than there has been in several weeks to this point. He's played 4 of a possible 21 games to this point on the season, and I totally hear you on this is absolutely the most frustrating stretch from really Joel Embiid's entire career as far as his availability. And really what my biggest concern is, my direct complaint that I have the heaviest regarding the situation, is just the lack of transparency and how it has been constantly no one having any idea what's going on. really this feels like a direct Joel Embiid thing that he's kind of handling the way this is being managed. And once, for whatever reason, for all the information to be guarded, we truly don't know what's going on with that knee, which, you can look at it is it's more frustrating, I would say, than anything, that we can't really gauge the level of concern. I will say I've heard plenty about there being some pretty legitimate personal issues behind the scenes. I know that got added to the injury report. I can't tell, or I don't know for sure what exactly that is, but something to keep in mind here. So I don't know. It's a frustrating stretch. I wish we had more information. I think the Sixers have done a really bad job of handling this from start to finish this year, but I do think that all can still change if he is able to step on the floor for an extended period of time and begin to look somewhat like the MVP version of himself that we know.
So it's funny because to piggyback off of everything you just said, like right now we got this image as Sixer fans, we have this image of Joel Embiid to be this rational locker room problem. He had the thing out with Marcus Hayes, and we all know the backstory to that. I don't really want to touch on it, but then it's like him missing time. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And now it's like even the Sixers defender, even like I said myself, who's defended this guy, because you and I both can see the talent, what he's capable of, what he went full healthy. We know what he's
Yeah.
capable of, right? He draws 3-1 defenders. He could crash the boards whenever. He can hit the 3-point better than anyone I know. We know what he can do, and him getting back on the floor, and if he could be the dominant Joel Embiid, to me, the reigning MVP, if he get back to that form, there's no stopping this man. And really, and I get it, the things that Paul George is now doing for filling the gaps, if you will, filling that pothole. This is still his thing here. This is still his baby. When you think of the 76ers, you still think of Joel Embiid. My thing is, though, now that he's not, and since he's missed so much time, is it going to be tough for him to gel with the Nick Nurse system?
Yeah, it's certainly not ideal that this is the way it's played out. And I think what's particularly frustrating to me about the entire situation is for so many years, we've begged for the lack of supporting cast that Joel has had, or the team not being adequately constructed around him. I feel like it's there this year, that a guy like Paul George really changed the picture for this team. Caleb Martin, while he hasn't played that well just yet, is a great piece that's going to fit when this team is fully constructed. Jared McCain has been an awesome breakout story. There's a lot of talent on the Sixers team, but it's all assembled around Joel Embiid. So when you're building a house, you can have the most beautiful front door, the best windows, but if that foundation is not put in check, or the guy that this is fully constructed around is not ready to carry his weight here, it's not going to reach the expectations for the team. And that's kind of what we're seeing here. I still think there's a lot of season left, more than 60 games at this point. I believe 61 left for the Sixers specifically here, that I still think there's a world where he can find a way to fit into this team. It's night and day different when Joel Embiid's on the floor for how they play. There's no doubt about it there, but it's got to happen pretty quick. And I think really what the biggest question mark here is, what is that level of health? That's kind of the frustrating point that we can't answer here. And that we haven't been given much information for it to work with for what exactly the deal is. So I'm hopeful that we return to some normalcy for the second half of the season, but there is a real chance that we have to be honest with ourselves that it's just kind of a war of attrition with what's going on with that knee. He's had multiple surgeries on it, has battled it really throughout his entire career. And if we're being honest with ourselves, it's kind of a miracle that he's been as healthy as he had and been as elite as he had for such a long period of time, because these are injury concerns that have battled since he walked into the NBA. So I hope that is not the case and this isn't the beginning of the end. We need to see in probably the coming weeks some stability for Joel Embiid for the first time this season.
Yeah, and it's true, because even last year, like, we knew that his knee was going to be in bubble wrap. It was only a matter of time before it got hurt. We know the story. And when he went down, it just truly took the wind from underneath this team. And like you said, though, with him on the floor, and if went healthy, and if he could get back to that dominant Joel Embiid that we all know, we all love, it's you see, like you just said, the day and night when he's on there, and like he makes everyone around him better. He
Yeah.
makes everyone on that floor just up, just so to me, then today would be a perfect ideal game to get him in. And because like you just said, it's still fairly young in the season. Like the East is still wide open into me. I mean, other than like up to Miami's holding the 60. They're just above 500 team. I
Yeah.
mean, Milwaukee, you got Milwaukee Nets, Pistons, Toronto, Bucks. I mean, they're like 11-11, they're just a 500 team. So I mean, there's still room for the 76ers to, believe it or not, to make waves to get into a playoff round.
Yeah,
So
100% there. And kind
yeah,
of like to piggyback off that real quick, like as bad as it's
yeah.
been to start the season, looking directly at the standings, they're 2.5 games out of the play-in tournament, and looking at the actual like playoff secure seed at 8.5 games out of first there, the Sixers are 5 back of that. So with 61 games remaining, the East really is that bad that I think people have run with this is a throwaway season too soon. And like when looking at the Sixers schedule moving forward, they have a great chance to pick up some wins over these next couple games. They obviously have the Bulls today. They play the Pacers on Friday. So a long stretch off in between that. And the Pacers have been dreadful lately. And then back-to-back against the Hornets. That very easily could be a 4-0 stretch. Then all of a sudden you're talking about being 10-15 and then build off that. And all of a sudden the picture for the season looks a little better. So the opportunity is still there to add to your point.
Yeah, absolutely. And guys, this is my man Sean Bernard from Fox Gambler Sports. Guys, give him a follow right there on X. He's my guy. And I appreciate a few minutes of his time. So, Sean, I want to get back to talk so we talked about the pluses and minuses not having Joel Embiid. Let's talk about the pluses though of Paul George. And guys, if you have any Sixers questions, please ask Sean. His basketball IQ is a lot higher than mine. So Sean, let's talk about the pluses because since Paul George, I mean, listen, there's a lot of veteran guys that this Sixers team has. Not too many that sit well with me, but this one right here in particular has been a plus for the 76ers team. Wednesday, he drops 29 points. On Friday, he drops 21. He's been the real spark plug to this offense. What's the deal with him?
Yeah, he's just like the most modern version of a wing that the Sixers franchise has had really in decades to this point, and for sure ever in the Joel Embiid era of basketball here. You can he's a player that you can pick up and plug in on any single NBA team, and he's going to make an impact. That he's just like that stylistically able to blend with things. His creation off the dribble is something that's really stands out that the Sixers have not had there. I think defensively, he's been really impressive to me. His kind of a manipulation of screens and be able to run with guys on the perimeter is above what I expected. I think his playmaking has been better than I expect to be the case. Had 9 assists the other day. He's been really effective at attacking the paint and kicking to shooters, which frankly on the Sixers team, they're still truly not a like traditional point guard. Tyrese Maxey, I just don't think is quite filling those shoes and hasn't made much progress in that lane this year. Jared McCain, I think, has shown some flashes of it, but is a 20-year-old rookie, and I don't think is getting that kind of responsibility in kind of the overall picture here. And Kyle Lowry, not much left in the tank there. I think everyone can see that as well. So having a guy like Paul George that can pick up some of those chops and be a playmaker in the offense is a big deal. And he shoots the ball so high. He's real deal, like 6'9" with athleticism. Still can go up there and dunk, even though he missed a pretty rough one that would look cool the other day. So he's just a great mix for this team. And I do truly feel when it's fully constructed that my biggest selling point about this Sixers team is I love the mix of Joel Embiid being a true center, Paul George being a true wing, and then Maxey being a true guard there. So there is kind of a nice balance within this team. But to the same point here, we got to see it with Joel Embiid. To this point, we've seen a grand total of 6 minutes on the floor with Maxey, Paul George, and Embiid to this point. So that has to change moving forward.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, because right now, I mean, you see with the 76ers team, that's the one piece that they are missing. When Drummond's not on the floor, there's no one downstairs who can defend. So, I mean, anybody who has a big man who can kind of crash the boards and have their way right now. So that's where, like I said, the Sixers' biggest weakness is. So, but I mean, like you mentioned about Paul George, he's like, to me, he's been awesome. He's been, like I said, one of the few veteran guys who came to this team that's really made an upgrade for this team. And found, like I said, kind of filled that void until Joel Embiid gets back. He's been kind of holding this team for this past week. He's, like I said, 29 points. Again, the way you say you kick out, the way he has a nice little mid-range games, great shots, all that. And Max, he's been so far, like you said, a little bit up and down. Last week he dropped almost 40 points, but this week he's kind of been a little iced. You have McCain who can shoot from the outside. You have that going on. So, but how about KJ Martin though? I mean, you're talking about guys who kind of, every scoring opportunity that KJ Martin had the other night, he kind of took full advantage. I mean, he was crashing the boards. He's kind of picked up the pace a little bit.
Yeah, he absolutely has. And that's been a story that has changed for the Sixers team. That we flash back to the offseason, there was all this talk about this quote unquote balloon contract that was handed to KJ Martin. And what that meant was basically paying him a little bit more than they expected he would be worth with the intention of trading that contract at the deadline. Well, I think we're going to have to revisit those conversations because KJ Martin's kind of playing himself into a fairly important part of the Sixers team. He's still just 23 years old. The athleticism is off the charts. I think what has impressed me the most about KJ this year is he's a way higher IQ basketball player than I realized. Like there's little stuff as far as he's not that great of a shooter. He's shown some improvement this year, but doesn't have kind of the defensive, I guess, like isn't perceived as a threat by the defense there. And I've seen multiple times this year where whenever he is just being left alone on the perimeter, he's immediately calling for Tyrese Maxey or Jared McCain to run with him with the ball and set a screen for their man. And what that means and what that creates is you basically create a 1-on-0 for your guy because there's no player for them to switch with. That when you're talking about pick and roll coverage, that it is obviously each guy has a man, and then you're either switching or fighting through. Mm-hmm. When there's no man there, it's just a 2-on-1 that you create. And KJ has kind of done a really nice job of making that an area of the Sixers offense there. The athleticism's off the charts. Been really impressed defensively with his instincts as like a weak side rim protector rotating across, which is a pretty unique skill set for a guy that's only 6'5" there. So he's awesome. He's fun to watch. He's a lob threat. He's the best athlete on the Sixers roster. So I think KJ Martin's here to stay. His cutting's been off the charts. He does a lot in a little amount of time, which is a really impressive thing for a role player. So excited to see him build off it. I think that was his best performance in a Sixers uniform the last time they were on the court.
Yeah, I mean, 20 points he had. And again, to me, that's what I was scratching my head about, beginning of the season. I mean, Dick Turks was giving these role players, these washed up role players extended minutes. I mean, I get it. Kyle Lowry is his boy. Kyle Lowry is the only, Nick Nurse is the only reason why Kyle Lowry is even touching the floor because they're boys and all that. He's the teacher's pet. But I mean, still, he produces he's more of a facilitator. He's better as a coaching from the sidelines than he is on the play, on the floor. So, I mean, when you're expediting and you're cutting KJ Martin's minutes, you're cutting Ricky Council's minutes. To me, you're only hurting this team. I mean, you're giving Lowry and Caleb Martin all these minutes, and they weren't really producing much. Now, like I said, you bring him in off the bench, KJ, and he's been an uptick for you. It's kind of like your best solution off the bench. Bringing these young guys, keep them in play. Like you said, Maxey didn't show up on the score sheet the other night, but he did. You left him alone on the perimeter. He was taking care of business. Looked really, really well. So today, Sean, though, how do you say this playing against the Bulls?
Yeah, the Bulls are an interesting team that I would say their talent is far better. The amount of talent on roster is far better than it ever looks connected, that they kind of have a tough time stringing together, and it's been that way for several years now. Kobe White's really fun. Ayo Dosunmu is an intriguing talent. Zach LaVine can always bring it, and Nikola Vucevic has been playing terrific basketball this year, borderline all-star level. So like they're not like a bottom of the barrel team that you can just walk over. It's going to have to be a focused effort from the Sixers team. But I think what's really the story moving forward, like when regarding the Sixers team, it's all internal. What level can you play at? That if you play your best basketball, a team like the Chicago Bulls is not going to touch you. Now, we haven't seen very many consistent stretches of this best version of Sixers basketball being played. So I think like they finally, for the first time all season, have a little bit of momentum. They've won 3 of their last 4 games. I need a concentrated effort right from the opening tip-off that shows like we're focused on turning this thing around because there is enough time to still do it. But I guess I would just put out there the Bulls are not kind of a walkover team. You're going to have to bring it to get the job done.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, if Drummond could grab boards, he grabbed 9 boards the other night. If, like I said, you take down Orlando Magic is one of the top 5 teams in the East. You take them down. This should have a little bit more momentum. And now, like you say, you're going to have to play your best basketball. But, if Drummond could grab boards like he did the other night, if Kelly Oubre could grab some boards, and like I said, he's got a nice little mid-range game. His biggest deficiency to me is shooting from the perimeter. But, again, if those guys could grab some boards, start kicking it out, I think this should be another dub on the Sixers record, on the Sixers schedule. So what you have here, you have Marshawn checking. He goes, how excited we are for a 6-15 team. Look, Sean, you want to answer that one?
Yeah, it's been ugly so far. There's no way around acknowledging that there. But I do think that there's enough time left for me to still buy in. And we've seen 6 total minutes with Embiid, Maxey, and Paul George on the floor together. Until we see a larger sample size of that or a little bit consistently, or at least have an idea of what's going on with Joel Embiid, still ready to remain optimistic. And to be honest, that's far more about how weak the East is than my belief in the Sixers team. That when looking around, the Boston Celtics are truly the only team I perceive as straight up dangerous on the season. The Knicks have played much better and are certainly in a better spot than the Sixers. The Milwaukee Bucks have played red hot of late, but I have concerns with both those teams. The Cleveland Cavaliers have obviously been unbelievable, but I still don't know if I fully buy into that from a playoff perspective and the way that that team's constructed. So my point being with this is that I don't think the East is this gauntlet that Sixers need to run through. They just
Right.
got to focus on getting themselves healthy. You got a chance at it. So a lot of basketball still to be played.
And then Marshawn says, if you're gonna cut Jeremy Kane's minutes against the Hornets and Magic a few nights ago, that's a criminal. And look,
Yeah.
I get it, and totally listen. But you got to admit though, like last week he was kind of ice cold shooting from the perimeter. Now he's kind of picked things up a little bit, so you can't blame Nick Nurse for that. And then he says winning 3 out of 4 games is and a tribute to Nick Nurse answering this team just health wearing. Yeah, listen, I get it. I'm with you. So, yeah, listen, the 76ers are going to have a big, tall task again. Nothing's going to be easy from the down stretch, but I'm with you, Sean. This East is not out of harm. It's not out of the Sixers' way from, running. Like you said, to me, Cleveland, Boston, and maybe the Knicks, okay. But other than that, I mean, the East is still, to me, wide open. And like you said, it's not a gauntlet for this team to run against. Or against,
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
100% there. And like the biggest takeaway from that specifically is these are internal things the Sixers need to fix. This is not being afraid of other organizations or struggling. This is look within the own walls of your locker room and figure out that they got to get healthy. They got to be playing consistent minutes together. And all these fixes are on them. That this is just like focus on getting yourself better. We have yet to see them play to their peak level on the season so far. Again, there is still a lot of time to get there, but it starts with the big fella. So I think it would go a long way today. So seeing Joel Embiid actually suit up, he is officially listed as questionable. I do expect he'll go through the process of he goes through his pregame routine before a final decision is made, as maddening as that is. But if they can get him back on the floor and looking like himself, all the other pieces around him start to fall together. And all of a sudden, the tune around the Sixers team is quite different. So I'm still optimistic that that is a possibility.
Marshawn says, I'd rather have a top 2 pick than lose in the playoff series. I get it, but no, I mean, listen, I get it, Sean.
There's been a lot of kind of the talk about this being a lost season or tanking and all that. And the problem with that specifically, so the Sixers direct position right now, they have a top 6 protected pick. That meaning that if the pick falls between 1 and 6, the Sixers keep the draft pick. If it falls 7 or below, goes to Oklahoma City Thunder. This dates back to a trade. I believe it was the Al Horford trade that this started with. But what that means specifically, that if that's going to happen, you really got to commit to being bad if you're going to put yourself in a spot. Because when you think of the lottery odds, even if you're the worst team in the NBA, you have a 14% chance at getting that first pick. The 3 worst teams all have a 14% chance. And when you look honestly at this, as bad as the Sixers have been, they're not going to be worse on a season-long sample size of a team like the Utah Jazz or like the Washington Wizards or the Toronto Raptors. Like, there are some bad basketball teams in the NBA that when you have guys like Tyrese Maxey, like Jared McCain, like Paul George, you're simply not going to be that much of a bottom feeder. So when I think of the calculations of that, like, you'd have to be incredibly bad to guarantee yourself a top draft pick. And I don't think, even as poorly as they've started this year, that their floor is that low for this Sixers team. And I definitely think in Daryl Morey's brain, especially when factoring in how hyped up this season has been and the offseason that led into it, that the calculation in his brain will be, we have a higher chance of fighting out of the play-in and having a chance in the playoffs than we do of actually gaining that draft pick. And the worst case scenario, if we were to play this out, is if the Sixers do have an absolute lost year, they get to the NBA draft lottery, and all of a sudden their pick falls at 7 and the Thunder get that draft pick. So then you just had a throwaway season, get nothing in return, and then you face these same issues moving forward to next year. So in theory, I feel you. I think in actuality that it's going to be really hard to like actually get bad enough to where that pick would return to the Sixers.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And Marshawn says, yes, what are the Thunder going to get with another first round draft pick? Yeah, I understand. So my question though to you, a couple questions I got to ask you, Sean, before I let you go. Nick Nurse, up until this point, what grade are you giving him?
Definitely not particularly high. I'll go C- for Nick Nurse.
C-. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, go ahead.
I mean, there's a lot to nitpick here. I don't think he's shown remotely the level of creativity that I hope for. And that was really one of his calling cards as a coach, is that he wants to try things. He wants to be creative. I just haven't seen that as far as the decision-making on the floor. I hate that we're doing the same battle of giving Jared McCain more minutes. This feels very Doc Rivers-like, that we're kind of having those same conversations. And I don't know what more McCain could do to earn the opportunity, because he's been pretty excellent, and just particularly in that shorthanded stretch where he was really tossed the freedom. So I don't know. I've been very underwhelmed by the actual on-court decision making and stuff there. And I also think he's done an incredibly poor job representing himself to the media, particularly with the Joel Embiid conversation. That I get it's frustrating. I guarantee Nick Nurse is as frustrated as anyone with Embiid not being available and really the lack of transparency that he hears. But I think he would do everyone a little bit better spot if he was a little less snippy in those opportunities. And I understand, like, this is just the nature of the business, and you should expect that when you're coaching Joel Embiid, you're going to be asked questions about him. So I think you should be a little prepared in that area too.
Absolutely. And he says, watch Jared McCain get traded for a washed up. Yeah, I'm telling you, the Sixers are starting to pull Flyers moves here. No, I agree. I mean, I would, again, I thought there would be a little bit more creativity. I think he's learning as the season's going on. Like, hey, listen, hey, Kyle, like, I love you, bud. But I got to start playing this guy named KJ Martin. He's shown me a little bit more something. And listen, look, your season's come to an end. Maybe you should take my shoes and start coaching. That's what's coming down there. So, Sean, I got to ask you, Sixers, Eagles at 1:00. I imagine you're going to do one of my moves. You're going to probably have double TVs on.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? It's that kind of day. It's going to be nice, cold. Sean, I got to ask you, though. I asked everybody, what kind of a meal would you have on what's on the Sean menu for today?
Oh, that's a good question there. I would say I'll go traditional kind of off Sunday for me. I will be working most of the day, but I will still have the double TVs out. Working for DraftKings, so right here on the laptop at home. But I will be double screening it. And as far as a meal, buffalo chicken dip always a go-to for me. That's probably my my go-to move for that. We do have some chili cooking in the Bernard household this current moment, so that's kind of what we're in store for. So yeah, should be a good day food-wise here. Buffalo chicken is certainly a favorite of mine.
Listen, it's some of the listeners here already know is I'm going to do some pasta. I got to bust out some pasta today. I mean, like I said, you got birds, you got Sixers at the same time, double TV. It's going to be going on. But Sean, I definitely appreciate you coming on. And one more from our guy Marshawn. He says, "Are you protecting Joel too?" Come on, Marshawn.
Yeah, I will say I've been certainly on the side of defending Joel Embiid. I've heard more and more that I haven't loved behind the scenes this year. I do think that there will be more kind of coming to the surface in the coming weeks. That is not my my business to share with the Joel Embiid side of things there. Yes. I think the picture will be painted in its full scale for what exactly the situation is, but I think it's not kind of in the short term that's going to happen. So we're going to live with the uncertainty to this point. There's legitimate stuff and there's illegitimate stuff as far as what has gone wrong from his angle and with the injury side of things this year. So we'll see what ultimately comes to the surface here, but has not been a good season from a Joel Embiid perspective, no doubt about it.
All right, well, listen, guys, that's my guy, Sean Bernard. Give him a follow. It's from Fox Gambler right here, guys. Give him a follow on Twitter. Sean, where can people follow you at?
Yeah, you can follow me at Sean_Bernard1 on Twitter or X there. You can check out Sixers Digest and Phillies Digest on YouTube. That I'm kind of chopping up individual videos on each angle or on each channel there. You can also catch me on Fox Sports The Gambler talking throughout the week with Sean Brace, chopping it up around the Sixers and everything else NBA. So make sure to tap in with that every Saturday, 11 to 1 with Mark Henry Jr. and throughout the week with Sean Brace. So appreciate you having me on, Pat.
Listen, Sean, I got Sixer post games here. I mean, I got to get you on for one of these things. So, but Sean, I mean, listen, you let me know when you're available. And listen, anytime you're available, you can always hop on with me. Love having you on. And me and Sean didn't realize we were related through mailman, but that's okay. No, but listen, Sean's a heck of a guy, guys. Guys, give Sean a follow. Love this guy, man. The most intelligent sports Sixer knowledge guy I've ever been around. He's got high IQ on basketball and all sports. So, guys, give my man Sean a follow. Sean, thank you so much.
Yeah, appreciate you having me on again, Pat, and for sure, would love to chop it up again soon.
Yeah, and what happened? I thought I just saw you with a beard. Where'd it go? I mean, I thought you were going in the beard. You shaved down a little
bit. Still there a little, but yeah, cleaned it up a little bit for this. It was getting a little bit long.
Hey, man, I was digging it. I was really digging it. But listen, guys, Sean Bernard, give him a follow, guys, and thank you so much for your time, Sean.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks again, and go Sixers and go Birds.
Go Sixers, go Birds. There you have it, guys. My man Sean, I love that guy. He's his IQ for hoops is like here. Mine's is like, well, we won't talk about it. So anyway, I can't finish out my Sunday morning without talking some birds. Oh, I love talking about birds because we got Eagles, Panthers. Is today a going to be a trap game? Because Carolina Panthers have been playing better football as of late. Are the Eagle fans starting to believe that today could be a possible trap game? I don't think so. I don't think today's going to be a trap game. I think the Sixers are going to take it one game at a time. I think they're going to be well prepared. I think they're going to be ready for what the Panthers are going to throw at them. Now, I know it's funny when I watch this Eagles team. The Eagles, to me, they've answered all kinds of question marks. Like, isn't it funny when you watch the Eagles? They play dead. They play as a decoy. Like they like the slow starts are on purpose. Like, some people are getting frustrated because they're not setting the tone. They're not scoring first. But to me, they're playing a decoy. They're off to a slow start. They want to see what the opposition is offering. Like the Ravens last week were having all sorts of fun in that first and opening quarter, up to a 9-0 start. Lamar Jackson's finding all sorts of holes, finding flowers open, all sorts of fun and good times. But then the second quarter comes around, and this is where the Eagles start picking things up. You had this Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts is just playing. He's just balling out right now. I mean, it's good. As much as we talk about Saquon Barkley just being an MVP candidate, I don't think we give enough love to Jalen Hurts in the season that he's had. It's obvious last year it was the play calling that was really messing things up for this guy. He's been he's just been a monster under center. The way he can scramble his legs, again, quarterback draws, read options, making plays off his feet. Again, look at the second quarter last week. Marching down on this Ravens team. Came marching with A.J. Brown. A.J. Brown beating the one-on-ones. A.J. Brown finding holes over the middle. So him and Hurts can link up. Saquon Barkley, just like I said, rips gashes. We know, I call him Kano now. I call him Kano. Saquon Barkley is Kano to me. He just rips hearts out of every defense he faces. It's really a remarkable team to watch. I mean, they've answered the bell. You had three decent teams last week that you faced: Commanders, the Rams, the Ravens, and the Eagles just ran through them. Like I said, slow start. Who cares? Who cares they're not getting on the scoreboard first? Look what the end result is. Giving the opposition nothing but pain and punishment. It's funny because when I saw the Ravens, even when they were up 9-0 last week to start the game, you could just see it in their faces, like they were shaking of, all right, how do we keep this team down? And Big Stick Vic Fangio, he just sits up there and he plans, and whether he's going to run a nickel package blitz, whatever, the 3-4. It's nasty what this team can do to you. And Derrick Henry was not even an issue last week. I mean, on paper, he wrapped up 80 yards. But still, Zach Baldwin coming flying out the backfield. Like, this team's nasty. And I get it. Like I said, the Panthers are playing a lot better. They're dangerous. But the Birds is just as dangerous. They're showing you, like it's funny because, and I don't like when the city looks down the yellow brick road and already looking at the Detroit Lions for an NFC championship. Just take one game at a time. I just want to take one game at a time, focus on the Panthers, focus on how to stop them. Like I said, they're playing a lot better football coming down the stretch. They gave the Chiefs a run for their money. They gave the Bucks a run for their money. But it's and the Birds are a little bit banged up. So is there concerns there? You're not going to have Dallas Goedert, Reed Blankenship, Sidney Brown. The Birds are a little banged up on some areas. But I still believe in this team. Because you have to put away the Birds for 4 quarters. And I don't see a lot of teams doing that. This is tough. The Birds are a tough team to put away, and I wanted to see how the Panthers are going to answer the bell. How's Bryce Young going to answer the bell? I mean, you're coming into when the Birds are playing at their highest, the more and more that fan, the intentions of coming to Philly, facing an intimidating crowd, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough for the Panthers to make play callings. It's going to be tough for this young kid, Bryce Young, coming into this town. It's going to be hard to walk out South Philly with a W. It's almost like you're entering a lion's den. You know what I mean? And getting ready for that. I mean, it's crazy. Like I said, the Birds are just playing decoys. Adam says 34-17 Birds. I think it might be a little closer than that. I don't know why. Well, I don't know why I think it's going to be a little closer. I mean, like I said, Bryce Young has been nine games, 139 yards completions, over 1,300 yards. He's been playing again. No, but the one thing the Birds don't have, the Panthers don't have, and they kind of need them, is Jadeveon Clowney on defense. They're going to need that. You're going to need all sorts of playmakers for this team. And it's funny because the play calling on both sides of the ball for the Birds, like I said, they adjust as the game goes on. Like Kellen Moore and Big Stick Vic take what the opposition is throwing at them. Then they unleash their venom on both sides of the ball. And you got to give Howie Roseman credit for making this pick, for bringing these two guys in. It's been a pleasure having those guys in. It's been complimentary to the players on the field. Bringing the best out of these guys. Like Kellen Moore, I mean, it's just, like I said, using Jalen Hurts to his best of his abilities, making plays off his feet, run the ball, making plays to A.J. Brown. A.J. Brown, making some great route running, beating the one-on-one coverages, finding open holes over the middle. It's been really nice. And like I said, the way that the Eagles defense can disguise and make plays out of the backfield has been really, really nice. They are doing things that I know. Again, as much as I love that 2017 Super Bowl team, this team's right up there. This team is right up there. Like, that year, Carson Wentz was like the most beloved guy. And you had Kelsey, but I think with a lot of personnel in this team, they become beloved. Zach Bond, Saquon Barkley. We know A.J. Brown. We love him. Jalen Hurts. Again, does all the right things. It's crazy to me what this team's capable of. Like, I don't want to take this as going to be a day at the beach for the Eagles. I think they are focusing on one game at a time and take it. Because we all know the big game is next week. Actually, 2 weeks in a row. Because you have the Steelers and you got the Commanders again. And the Commanders are going to be looking for revenge. But I mean, I don't want to look over my opponent. I gotta focus. We gotta focus on what we have in front of us, and that's the Carolina Panthers. Do you guys believe this is a trap game? Do you guys believe this is a trap game today? Is this a trap game for your Philadelphia for the Philadelphia Eagles? I don't think so. And like I said, the Carolina Panthers have been playing a lot better football as of late. The Eagles are a little banged up. Will this be a trap game? If the Eagles lose today, does your Super Bowl expectations go down a little bit? Well, then, you know, I know like a lot of a lot of football fans, a lot of Eagle fans were keeping their eye on Thursday night's game, but you got to keep what's ahead of you. And this trying to, how the Eagles are going to get things done today. Who's going to step up on both sides of the ball? Who's going to be the playmaker? I think, again, this is going to be an A.J. Brown day. I think he's going to, obviously, Saquon Barkley is the easy and obvious answer, but it's going to be fun to see what this Birds team can do. And like I said, Panthers starting to figure things out a little bit as they're coming down the stretch here. But it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun to watch. Who's going to step up today for the Birds? Who is really going to be their playmaker? And my final prediction, I think it's going to be a lot closer. I'm going to go a 24-21 win Eagles. I think that's going to be the story of today. I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I don't think it's going to be that easy. And, if you watch this Carolina Panthers team as of late, like I said, they've been putting up a lot of points. They can do that. But I wonder to you guys how the Birds get this on. Is this a trap game? If they lose today, a lot of questions are going to be, a lot of storylines are going to be sunken into this game here. What do you think? If they lose today, does that tell you there's issues with this team? If they lose today, will you be happy? Because it only angered this team even more? It's going to be, I wonder how they're going to get the job done. I wonder how they're going to get the job done today. What's it going to be? What's it going to be for this Eagles team? Well, listen, I like I said, and by the way, to let everybody know, right here, we have a lot going on the network today. If you haven't heard me at the beginning of the show, I'm going to let you guys know now. We have a Sixers post-game show. I'll be doing that. We have an Eagles post-game show with Mitch and Steve. We have a Steelers post-game show. We have a Pittsburgh crew that's joined the network with my man Will, Ed, and Tracy. And also, we will have a Flyers post-game show. And, of course, all across all the time. So, a lot of action here on the Stream Punk Entertainment Network. A lot of action. And I might be having someone join me tonight on the Flyers post-game show. A good old friend of mine. But we'll stay in tune and see who that, I got someone on my sleeve. But yeah, last week, again, Saquon Barkley last week had 23 carries, 170 yards, 1 TD. Jalen Hurts, 118 yards, 1 TD, 1 rushing TD. This dude is just balling out. This dude is just balling out. And I don't think he gets enough credit. I know everyone's favorite toy is Jalen Hurts or Saquon Barkley, but man, this guy needs a little bit more love. And I think the town needs to give this guy a little bit more love. Adam, thank you so much, sir. And with that being said, guys, I'm up against the time. But guys, like I said, a lot of action. So if you haven't yet subscribed to the Stream Punk Entertainment, please do that. We have a lot going on today. Again, Eagles, Sixers, Flyers. Oh my, we have all of them today. We have a lot of action, and if you know a a goofy cousin that's a Steelers fan, tell them to subscribe too. If you know a front-running loser weasel, Steelers fan that only likes them because they have 6 Super Bowls, we have a Steelers post-game show for them, for the people. Because right here on Stream Punk Entertainment Sports, we're covering all of PA. We're covering all the potholes. We have a Pittsburgh crew now. I would never have thought in a million years I'd be working with a Pittsburgh crew. But you know what? These guys, Will, Ed, and Tracy, smart, intelligent guys. I like them. You should like them. Bring them in. So, guys, for me, Pat Bernard, I want to say good afternoon, everybody, and thanks again for tuning into the show. Thank you so much.